Louise Brogan helps coaches, consultants, and corporate teams grow their businesses through visibility without burnout or becoming someone they're not. She teaches practical visibility strategies using LinkedIn, video, YouTube, writing, podcasting, and AI tools that simplify content creation. Louise runs the Accelerator program for LinkedIn growth, delivers corporate workshops on profile optimization and engagement, and offers done-for-you content marketing that keeps clients visible without the overwhelm. She hosts Raise Your Visibility Online, wrote Raise Your Visibility on LinkedIn, and speaks internationally at events such as Social Media Marketing World and TubeFest. And welcome to yet another episode of Freelancer Training on How to Find More Direct Clients, a podcast hosted by myself, Jason Willis-Lee. This is the show that makes digital marketing easier and more fun using the perfect combo and just the right dose of business strategy and tech. So I'm your host, Jason Willis-Lee. I'm a digital marketing enthusiast. I'm a medical translator as well. And today I'm very thrilled to welcome my special guest. Her name is Louise Brogan. Louise, welcome to the show. How are you today?
Thank you so much, Jason. I am very well. It's a lovely way to kick off my week coming on your show.
Thank you so much for your time and accepting the invite. I mean, can you just break the ice a little bit and tell the audience what is it you do? I know you're a LinkedIn specialist. Could you tell us what kind of outcomes you achieve for your clients, and then we'll get into the nitty-gritty of LinkedIn. And I know you have a framework you'd like to share.
Yeah, I mean, I've been helping people with LinkedIn for about 7 or 8 years now. And before it was like the cool place to hang out. Nobody really wanted to be on LinkedIn when I started this. They all wanted to be over on Instagram and being super whizzy. And so my background is I was a software engineer and then I was an IT project manager. And when
Oh,
I
wow.
had my family, I realized to be more flexible that actually starting my own business was a really good option for me. I come from a family of entrepreneurs, like my sister, my cousin, my dad, my uncle, all running their own businesses. So it's definitely something in the blood or something I was used to. So yeah, so I started the business in about 2013 and it was a social media management business really then. I was doing content for local small businesses for Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Oh, rest in peace, Twitter. Love Twitter. Don't go on there anymore. Can't even actually log into my old account. But
Do
anyway,
you
that's
not go
another story.
into X? X is the sort of
Yeah, I
reincarnation
know.
of
I
Twitter,
can't. I
isn't it?
can't get logged
Yeah.
into it.
All
So
right.
I don't bother anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I used to love it. I used to do a Twitter hour back in the day. Anyway,
How
so I
many
need.
platforms do you sort of advocate people go with? I mean, I play on LinkedIn and Instagram. Do you think two
Mhm.
is more than enough? I mean, it seems
I
more than
do,
reasonable.
Jason, but you know the one that I think that most people have ignored, and I really, really think that they need to start thinking about properly is
Hmm.
YouTube.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Massive. YouTube is absolutely
Yeah,
massive.
yeah, it's big,
Um,
isn't it? It's big.
yeah, I've got
I have a channel with about three-figure subscribers, but I don't dedicate time and money towards growing it. Something I'm
yeah,
constantly being bombarded by people telling me what to do with it.
yes,
But let's start with talking about your framework. Let's talk about the
yes,
COPE model. So COPE stands for Create Once, Publish Everywhere.
yeah.
And this is how you can turn one focused hour into weeks and weeks of LinkedIn visibility. Sounds amazing. Sounds like the holy grail for freelancers like me.
Yes.
Could you talk more about it and how do we turn one piece of content into like 10, multiple assets to last us, back cook for a few days, put it in the fridge, and then just take it out when we're ready.
Yeah, I mean, I love a good acronym. That probably comes from my IT days. So create once, publish everywhere really came about from I started to focus doing on video on LinkedIn, and actually there's a post on LinkedIn that we can talk about the AI and the algorithms on LinkedIn if we like. But there's a post of mine from 6 years ago that people are being shown right now on LinkedIn, and that's when I started talking about video on LinkedIn. So that's how long I've been going on about it for. So that's like literally 2019, pre-pandemic. I was like, guys, you need to do video for LinkedIn. So if you create one piece of content, and let's say it's video, or let's say it's this podcast, but let's go with video because that's the example I find really easy to explain to people.
Mm,
Even if you don't want a video of yourself on LinkedIn, bear with me. I still want you to record 1 hour of video. And this is what we do with our clients. So before you actually start recording that, you've got to understand who am I trying to talk to? Who is my target audience? What are their issues? What are their pain points? What do I want to be known for? And I think with clients that work with me, what is easier about this is they just show up to a call. I know what their business is about, and I am then, it's almost like a director's too fancy a word, but I'm literally interviewing them, the same as you do in a podcast, but really strategically. I'm trying to pull out of them content that we can then use. So if
Mm.
you book in for an hour, I could ask you at least 6 questions about your business. And what we get is a video, six short videos of you talking to camera as the expert you are. And that is just the starting point because I have actually discovered that me talking about video for LinkedIn has put a lot of people off working with me because they're like, I don't want to be on video, Louise. I'm like, that's
Mm.
okay. You don't actually need to use the video. It's what you get from the video. So
Right.
it could be an audio recording. But once you pull out an hour's worth of the person's basically their thoughts. You've got a piece of footage that you can then do so much with. So basically, step by step, Jason, what we would do with that, we would take that one video, and I use a platform called Descript. Don't know if you've
Mm.
heard of it.
I've
And
heard of Discord, yeah.
yeah, there's lots of different platforms you can use, but we upload that video into Descript. And then the first thing I do is I extract the transcript from it. In other
Hmm.
words, what you've just said. And when you do that, you've got this entire massive piece of text, and that's where you start the work. So you go through that text and you can pull out posts for LinkedIn. You can pull out multiple blog posts. So if I
Mm.
said, if one of my questions was, how do you create a LinkedIn company page or should I have a LinkedIn company page? And I answer that in a 3 or 4 minute video, that is the beginnings of a blog post about how to create a LinkedIn company page or why should you create a LinkedIn company page. So the transcript becomes a blog post. The blog post can then be repurposed into a LinkedIn newsletter. It also can form the basis of your email newsletter, which hopefully everyone listening has email newsletters because that's how you capture people's regular attention and stay
Mm.
front of mind with them. So
Yeah.
you have your 1 hour video. Let's say you only get 4 videos from it. So you've got 4 videos which can be put into minimum of four blog posts. Those can be repurposed into LinkedIn newsletters. In a 4 minute video, if you speak to me for 3 or 4 minutes, I can cut that up into multiple clips for video clips that you can put
Mm.
on LinkedIn, you can put on YouTube Shorts, you can put them on Instagram, wherever you want. If you have already got your branding organized, so you know your colors and your brands, we do this in templates we have like literally on Canva, we have template folders for different clients. I can pull out quotes and put those onto a branded image, which can then go on LinkedIn as a post. So each 3 or 4 minute video, we can pull out your quotes, your expertise, and we can turn that
Mm.
into posts, individual posts. We can also turn it into a carousel post on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Um, if your audience aren't sure what a carousel post is, that's when you go to LinkedIn and you'll see almost like a little slideshow that people swipe across. So it's understanding what lands on LinkedIn, how to
Mm.
structure the content itself, and then just repurposing the life out of that 1 hour of recording. So yeah, and you can do it with this is where AI tools are really helpful. So you could ask Descript's AI tool, select 3 clips from me here, and pull out quotes from this. One of the softwares I really like using this with is Claude, which is another
Mm.
AI tool.
Yeah,
And
I
if
like
you put
Claude.
your transcript into Claude and say, Claude, could you please pull out key messages from this? It will literally pull out the key quotes for you, and then you can use those as posts for your
Mm.
social media.
Which tool do you use, Louise, to snip up the video into smaller shorts, if you like? Would that be Opus Pro? Is that
For
one you
my
use?
clients, I actually use
Yeah.
a human video editor.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, we also we write. I always write my own content. So for me, there's a danger in using AI to generate all your stuff because it just becomes really quite generic.
Mm,
Um, and
yeah.
for clients, I have a human copywriter and a human video editor, which sounds so weird to say that. They're my team. They're very nice people. So I will give the client, I'll record the video with the client and I will put it into the script and pull out the transcript. Then I say to my copywriter, right, here's the video, here's the questions that I asked the client, here's the transcript. And then she goes off and she writes all the content for the clients. And she
Mm.
works hand in hand with our video editor who will make those video edit. Because if you aren't a video editor, yes, you can use tools to create clips, but it's fascinating the difference between me doing it as someone who's not a trained video editor and my properly trained, qualified video editor, Oshin, doing it is a world apart. And clients have noticed it. So before I hired him, I would maybe have sent clips of videos through to clients and they'd have a few issues. And then when we hired Oshin, who does the video, the clients were like, "Oh, it just looks it's the next level up." But the starting point is creating the one core piece that you repurpose.
So you work with corporates and consultants. You work with both those beasts. What in your opinion and your experience actually converts LinkedIn activity into sparking the conversations with clients and then turning them into paying customers? Because it's not just about vanity metrics, is it? It's not just
No.
about 6,000 followers and 20 DM conversations. It's what's
Yeah.
actually converting. What do you
Yes.
find is actually the sort of fuel that converts views and followers into conversations and sales?
Well, I actually think that, so I don't have a lot of follow. I mean, I have 16,000 plus followers, connections on LinkedIn, which is really quite small for someone who works in my niche because I don't chase those numbers.
Mm.
And I think that there's been a lot of hoo-ha on LinkedIn recently, people having over 100,000 followers and their reach has plummeted. And that's because LinkedIn has completely changed. And I will tell you how it works with me. It works like really, really well. And I will tell you that. But I want to just address this issue first. The algorithms, plural, in behind the scenes on LinkedIn have completely been replaced. And it is being run by AI software now. And it's been brilliant for me because I connect with people who are interested in what I'm talking about. I share content that they want to know about, and I don't really waste a lot of time and fluff, and I don't spark arguments, and I'm not inflammatory on LinkedIn. I literally show up and help people understand how to use LinkedIn. And if it was me showing up and understanding how to use YouTube, it doesn't matter that it's LinkedIn that I'm talking about in LinkedIn. That's just by the by. So
Mm.
it's showing up, sharing content that helps. It's kind of like an ecosystem. I talk about 4 pillars of LinkedIn. That's your profile, your content, your network, and then your private messaging. That's the 4 key areas you need to think about. If your profile is updated to show people who look at it that you are the right person to work with, they will connect with you. The profile is really the foundation to everything on LinkedIn, especially now that the AI has changed. And
Mm.
there's a thing that is called lost in distance, where if your LinkedIn headline, for example, or your content or what's in your about section, if you bury what you do halfway down that, you are less likely to be presented to people. So LinkedIn is surfacing profiles and content to people in real time that they're showing an interest in. And that is what is different about AI, about the AI background right now. It is updating in real time. It's not based off of, oh, this is the pattern and has been the pattern for the last 6 months, so we know what to show you over the last 6 months. It is literally someone goes in and they're looking for a copywriter, someone who has copywriter at the start of their profile name so that it's not lost in distance. Like I help people to create great copy. That word copy is stuck halfway down your profile, so
Mm.
it's lost in distance. So copywriter should be the first thing that people see, and then when they look at your about section and your featured section, it's all about copywriting. If you're a copywriter for small business, it's all about that. So the AI is going, oh yes, this person must be really talking about, and then your content needs to be talking about copywriting, not just having a row over here about something that's irrelevant to your network. So it's all becoming a lot more focus on what it is that you want to be known for. Make sure your profile, your content, and your network reflect that. So if I had chased those numbers and tried to get like 100,000 followers on LinkedIn,
Hmm.
a lot of those people would not be terribly interested in learning how to write a newsletter for a company page. So mine is much more of a small and mighty niche down network. So to answer your actual question, how do you do all of this and turn it into business? I have the literally perfect example from this morning. So before we came onto the podcast to record, I run a group program which is 12 weeks long, where I teach people how to do all of this, how to update your profile, how to create content that works,
Hmm.
etc., etc.
Yeah.
And today is week 6 of the current cohort. And today I'm going to be teaching my group how to write a LinkedIn newsletter, start and write a LinkedIn newsletter. So I went on to LinkedIn this morning and I said, literally said, I'm talking about LinkedIn newsletters in my group program. And then rather than just leaving that there, Jason, as a sales tactic, I then gave some proper value in the post. I said, here's why you should have a LinkedIn newsletter. Here's how often you should be doing it. I'm helping people with what I've written. And then I did a LinkedIn poll, which hilariously last week someone declared LinkedIn polls are dead. And I'm thinking, I'm getting massive success with LinkedIn polls. So I think you need to trust your gut in what works. And sometimes going back to what worked for you in the past and repeating that is going to really work. So, anyway, so I did a LinkedIn poll. Have you got a LinkedIn newsletter? Yes, no. Um, I always say something a bit quirky. Like, as one of my third option was, what is a LinkedIn newsletter? In other words, do people not know what it is? And then I always say, other comment below. So people have started to engage with that poll, and I've just got somebody has sent me a connection request, and in the message she has said, Louise, you mentioned that a workshop on LinkedIn newsletters. Can you tell me when that is? Because I need to learn how to do that for my business. And I've replied to her and I said, oh, really nice. Thanks for connecting with me. Absolutely. I mean, it's something I teach in my group, and the next one's starting in January if you want to know more about that, because I don't actually have a standalone workshop on LinkedIn
Mm.
newsletters. It's part of the program, but that's a perfect example. Talking about what I do in a way that helps people, because if it was just a salesy post, Jason, people would not engage with it. People are engaging with my content because I'm always sharing stuff that helps them. And
Mm.
that's the goal. The goal is to get people to engage authentically. And I know people are like, oh, that word's so overused, but it is, it's overused because it's real. So yeah, I sent out a newsletter yesterday and talking about this whole algorithm change and AI change, and people are lit up by it and they're sharing it. And it's being reposted because I'm not just saying, oh, I'm not moaning, oh, the algorithm's changed, my reach is down. I'm saying the algorithm's changed, here's what you should do about it. And here are some helpful, useful pieces of advice that you can take away and implement yourself. So that's why people are sharing it, because it's
Let's move
valuable.
on to sustainable visibility, Louise. So, most freelancers go, so I'm a freelancer and I talk to a freelance audience, online language service providers. Most
Yes.
people go silent when client work gets heavy, when we're bombarded with 3 or 4 projects at the same time. We stop posting. That's exactly perhaps when we should be visible for the next project.
Yes.
Have you cracked the sustainable visibility code for busy professionals? And could you talk a little about posting pressure and how that sabotages consistency? What is the ideal cadence to be on LinkedIn? Does being there
Mm.
every day, is that counterproductive? Should we do it once a week, once a month, 3 times a week? What is the ideal? And then what are the warning signs that we're overthinking this and overcomplicating our content strategy? Could you just talk a little bit about how we can get sustainable visibility sort of
Yes.
permeating our content?
Yes. So if we go back to the whole COPE methodology, if you have, so say you're really, really busy with client work right now, but you've got to make time to actually market yourself. Because I mean, when I first started my business, of course I fell into this trap. You're busy delivering the work, and then you forget to actually think about the
Yeah.
pipeline coming.
Yeah.
So I was at an event last week and somebody was talking about how they structure their diary every 15 minutes. And in my head, I was thinking, oh, that's like a lawyer. It's not what they do. They bill every 15 minutes.
Mm.
But she said that it takes a while to adjust into doing it, but for her, it's been phenomenal. So if you look at if you work 5 days a week, then look at your calendar and think, well, what projects am I delivering for my clients this week? I think you can find half an hour, 15 minutes, half an hour to go onto LinkedIn. Not to post every day, Jason. You don't need to do that. But if you have done the COPE framework where you have a video and you've chopped all, just think of don't be overwhelmed by this. Literally record yourself speaking on camera or into a phone for 20 minutes, 25 minutes about what you can talk about. And if it's easier to ask yourself a question, so you could literally, I mean, it depends how you operate as an individual, but you could ask yourself the question, pretend you're interviewing yourself, and then answer it. Take the transcript and then use some AI tool to say, can you take this transcript and please create me 15 posts for LinkedIn that
Mm.
I want you then to go and edit them into your own voice, but you've got the basic structure to begin with. And you can schedule those all out. But I think posting on LinkedIn twice a week is absolutely plenty, honestly. When people hire us to do this work for them, we post either 2 or 3 times a week, and it is absolutely plenty. But I don't want you to just post, like schedule it all and forget about it. What is actually right now working really brilliantly on LinkedIn is engaging on other people's content. Again,
Mm.
go back to those 4 pillars. If you have built a network, I call it a network of value, people who are interested in what you have to say, you find them interesting. This bit is much easier than just having a whole network of people you don't really care about. So if you can carve out 15 minutes a day to go onto LinkedIn, you've curated a news feed of content you're interested in or potential clients. I mean, at the end of the day, I strongly think you are your own algorithm. You teach social media platforms what you want to see by your activity on those social media platforms.
Mm.
If you go in and say you have a target of three, I'm not sure what kind of chunk of work you might do in your industry, but if you have, you need 3 clients a month to hire you for projects of work and you're thinking, okay, so for the next 6 months of next year, that means I need 18 clients. Then set yourself a target list of people on LinkedIn to connect with. Go on every day, 15 minutes, try and connect with 2 or 3 people each day. Comment on the content that they are sharing if they look like somebody who either could be your potential client or works with your target audience because quite a lot of people will be like, but Louise, my target audience never post anything on LinkedIn. That's true for a lot of people, but they are following other people that you could be commenting on. So, for example, Jason, when you talk about when this podcast goes live and you share it, I will comment on it because I can see that in your audience are people who might be interested in knowing more about my group program. If I don't comment under your post, then I'm relying on them going off
Mm.
to look for me. And human beings don't like extra steps, you know, they like nice and easy. So if you do a post about this podcast and I comment underneath it, it's easy. It's an easy step for them to go, oh, there she is, and click on my profile and decide to connect with me rather than, and I don't know if you find this with your podcast guests, you do a podcast with somebody and then you say, oh, would you share the episode when it goes live? And then they don't.
Mm.
You know, you're giving me a space on your platform, so the very least I could do is share this content with my network. But then
Sure.
when you post about it, it is absolutely in my interest to go in and comment underneath it to get more visibility with your clients. So it's very strategic, but it also should be easy, you know.
Could you just recap the four steps? It was profile, content,
Profile,
DMs,
content, network,
network,
and
and DMs.
then private messaging, which is your conversations you have with people.
Let's go on to the final five, Louise, because
Sure.
I'm conscious time is
I
racing.
know, sorry,
First
Jason,
of
I'm from
all, I've
Belfast. We talk a lot.
That's quite all right. My eagle eye has spied a picture of you with King Charles over your left shoulder. So first
Yeah.
question is, where did you meet King Charles? Was that some award ceremony? Were you knighted? Did you get an MBE? What was the occasion where you met the king?
I received this amazing invitation, right? So I'll read it out to you, Jason. The master of the household has received His Majesty's command to invite Mrs. Louise Brogan to a reception to be given at Buckingham Palace by the King to recognise the contribution of small businesses to the economy of the United Kingdom. So when Charles became king, he hosted a series of receptions at Buckingham Palace for
Mm,
400 people at a time, and they were different. They were different groups, and I couldn't believe I got this invitation. It was amazing. But when I
yeah.
got to the palace, which just sounds so insane. I ended up with this, it's quite a long story, but I ended up basically, I had been selected out of the 400 people to be in a lineup of 10 people to meet the king ahead of the reception, which I was
Mm,
completely unaware of. So that is me standing with the founder of the Starling Bank, Anne Boden, in my lineup to meet King Charles. And it was
that's
amazing.
very exciting. Very exciting.
Was.
What is one LinkedIn mistake, Louise, that costs freelancers the most clients? One mistake. What is the first mistake that comes to mind for you?
Not having written your profile properly. People, if
Okay.
people are interested in you and they go and look at your profile and you are not explaining how you can help them, you are leaving money on the table.
Using just one word to describe the future of B2B content marketing, so brand to brand. What's the first word?
Positive.
Positive. Okay, very good. If you could only post on, so we talked about posting twice or thrice a week.
Yes.
If you could post only once a week, what content type would you choose? Would it be video based on what you discussed earlier? Would it be video? What content
I
type?
think it would be the newsletter.
The LinkedIn newsletter. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. And will AI make personal branding easier or harder for B2B consultants? Is AI making things easier or is it making things harder?
If if people know how to use it as a tool, it is definitely making things easier. But right now we are in the stage where people don't quite know how to use it effectively and they're using it in a way that's probably damaging them.
Yeah. What's the worst online visibility advice that you've seen consultants follow? The worst online visibility advice. Could you?
People joining engagement pods and being inflammatory to get kind of, I don't think that, all publicity is good publicity. So
Yeah.
I've seen people start rows that go viral, and I'm like, well, how is that serving your business?
For the sake of starting a row for engagement. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Agreed. Yeah. Louise, we've discussed quite a lot. One, it is an online service provider audience. What is one key takeaway you'd like to share from everything we discussed? Or one notable sort of key nugget of knowledge to share? What would it be from everything we've discussed?
I think for your freelancer audience, I think try and make things as simple as you can. So focus on one or two key messages that you want to talk about. Create that one pillar piece of content and strip it down into lots and lots of smaller
Mm.
pieces so that you're not spending all your time creating content for a social media platform. You're actually doing your work, but don't forget that people you need to let people know how you can help them and be of service to them.
Louise, where can my listeners connect with you to learn more about your work and your expertise? Where's the best place? Would it be LinkedIn or is there a website we can go to? I'm guessing it's LinkedIn.
It is LinkedIn. I do, Jason, I do a monthly free webinar as well. So if they want to come along for a free workshop, it would be under louisebrogan.com/webinar. And there's always a free masterclass coming up that they can sign up to join.
All right, thank you. Let's wrap it up for today's episode of Freelancer Training on how to find more direct clients. Stay tuned for more engaging discussions on the ever-evolving landscape of language and digital marketing. Until next time, as I always say, stay on your game and future-proof your career in the AI era. Bye for now, and thank you once again very much to Louise Brogan, my special guest.
Thank you so much.
Here's a fun fact about Jason. You know, as a kid, Jason was heavily into magic, juggling, and ventriloquism. Thanks Thanks for tuning in to the How to Find More Direct Clients Than You Can Poke a Stick At podcast. We'll be back soon. In the meantime, why not head over to www.entrepreneurialtranslator.com to access all our tools and resources to monetize and future-proof your freelance translation business. And don't forget to hit the plus button in Apple Podcasts or iTunes, or subscribe in Spotify to be notified when new episodes drop. For regular tips and insights, business strategy, or marketing techniques straight to your inbox, please sign up at www.entrepreneurialtranslator.com.